We're going to do a track inspection on this thing. Very important part of it. It's very important to get the safety issue apart. You know, it's nice to go out there and have fun and stuff, but it's very important to be safe. With this car, we're not going to be able to start it up, but a good thing to do when you first pull in, the car needs to be running. You check some good throttle response, throttle return. Okay? You don't want to sit there and go wide open throttle and your throttle hangs wide open. You know, it's not very fun. Okay? You want to check brake lights. Brake lights are very important going around the racetrack. You want to make sure people have good leeway and know that you're stopping. Okay? So we'll go ahead and let this car down and go and start with tech inspection. Potomac tech inspection form. It's got pretty much everything listed on it that we checked. Start with the outside of the car. Just pull it in, check all the brake lights and stuff like that. Check for seat belts. Check for any fraying, anything like that. The car has roll bar and harnesses. Make sure the harnesses are routed right. It has a fire extinguisher. Make sure the fire extinguisher is mounted securely, and it is charged. It's not empty. It's not going to do any good if it's empty. Okay. And like I said, you want the car running at first, so you can check for good throttle response. Check the wheel bearings first. That's the first thing I check. I go down to each individual wheel. Shake it on top and side to side. A little bit of play, very little bit is okay. This one's very tight. It's good. You also want to check for any kind of suspension components that might be loose. If you feel any kind of play in there, it's not good. You want to check that out. You want to check the condition of the rotors. Okay, rotors get extremely hot going around the racetrack and they tend to crack. You want to check for any signs of cracking, being very thin, anything like that. Is this an S? So this side looks good. Let's check this front. Front pads look brand new. The same thing with the front. You're just looking to see if you see any cracks in rotors or signs. How much one of those blinds cost? These? 40 bucks, something like that. The bulb's the most expensive part. The bulbs are like $18.
Or you just take your wheels off.
Is on the rotor to
yeah. Most definitely. See how thin.
How much cracking will you tolerate?
Cross drilled, I'll accept a little more than anything.
Because they're cracked when
they crack fairly. But if this rotor had a crack in it,
not even if it didn't go all the way out to the OD.
I'd be scared about it. I mean, you're going around the racetrack, and it cracks on you.
Yeah. And where it becomes a problem is if it actually separates.
Actually, we had a rotor we just threw out yesterday too. That was cracked. And I love to show it.
To failure.
Oh yeah, I was failed. It was on John's race car.
Oh shit.
Actually, I'll find Donnie. We'll get this rotor. I'll show it to you.
Good.
I replaced one about 2 weeks ago.
How bad was the crack?
Pretty bad.
I mean, did it crack all the way? I mean.
Back of the car, check tires, wear, strain, wear, bubbles in the sidewall, nails in them, anything out of the ordinary. These look extremely new. 12 miles. Easy tech inspection. Okay, but you want to check all 4 tires. Get my other lights.
Yes, you pay it if it's a shop you've never been to before and you don't know if they've ever done the 928 before. Please impress upon them to use the lift points. Okay, you can see on this car, someone has tried to lift it on what looks like a frame rail. This is not a this part, this section of the frame rail, if you can call it that, is not a weight supporting part. If you get forward of this seam, this will support the car because it's a double joint. It's a weld. Actually, what happens here, this car has a crumple zone from this point rearward. This part is reinforced, so you can lift the car here.
So the best thing to do is to drive from the back seat for safety? Just kidding.
Well, that might be the part that gets really, really badly tough. But yeah, you can lift. And obviously the rear one has there's actually a couple of places you can lift from. He's already lifted from here. On some of the newer cars, there's a plate that's right underneath the joint for the wishbone suspension here, for the trailing arm. That's another place you can lift. Some people do lift the car directly underneath here in one location if they want to just get the rear wheels off the ground with one jack. You can do it. I wouldn't crawl under the car very long without a jack stand here, but you can do it. Up front, other places that you can lift from, besides the ones I've just mentioned, you can put a jack stand underneath the bracket that holds the control arm in place, the lower control. That is acceptable. Just be careful not to damage the bolts that are on there. What I usually do is I put a block of wood between the jack stand and this, so that you don't have metal to metal and possibly a scouring of the joint. You can also lift from this point. Now, you're pretty far forward here. You know, I would be real cautious about doing this without some other point to be holding it, but it can be lifted here. This is a perfectly good spot. And of course, the car can be towed from the tow hooks on both sides here. And I can tell you directly that I know that very well. This is perfectly fine. The only problem, of course, is if you get a tow truck to lift it, to tow your car from, chances are they're going to want to lift the car as well. And on the 86 or older cars, this spoiler won't handle it. It'll buckle, it will probably break. The newer ones, the S4 types, that spoiler up front is actually a pretty well-designed piece of rubber. And it's designed to take abrasive, hitting the curb, parking too close to one of those barriers. It's designed to take that, as long as the car hasn't been lowered too much.
Why'd you bring that up?
What goes in the tow hook? What goes in there?
Well,
chain. I reminded one.
Usually, a tow truck will have some sort of a hook that'll hook into that and pull, lock it in.
Okay, but
now
it's going to be
this
much
car,
higher, right? He's going to come
yeah,
up.
exactly.
So,
now this car, he's got on the S3s or older, there is a little cover on both sides here that a tow hook that's should be on your toolbox, in your toolkit. They'll screw in there.
okay.
Now, that's good for towing. That's good for pulling. Don't ever let them try to lift the car with that. Snap it right off.
Okay.
Okay? It's not meant to hold weight. It's just meant to pull.
And if it's flatbed, they'll use both, and it'll be at an angle below here. It'll pull right. They'll
hook up to.
Okay, so they will be coming down instead of up on a flat. Okay, all right.
If it's a flatbed.
Don't let them hook up to anything else.
Yeah, right.
I've had them throw hooks up into tie rod
Right.
ends,
Oh, yeah.
suspension, and
That's it.
Those
just
nice flat pieces of metal back there.
Yeah. And then, of course, a flatbed will want to. Beautiful. But that's not going to support, that supports this kind of force, not this kind of force. Okay. Last night he tried to do that to my car, and I said, So there is another place, yeah, we'll talk about that. There is another place to do it from. I think there's a hole underneath the lift point there. You can hook a hook in there, a small hook, into that and use that as a potential. Another trick you can use is the slotted wheels. If you can put a strap, a small hook through the slotted wheel, you can use the wheel as a tie down. Because obviously that's supporting the weight of the car, so it's got to be strong enough.
But don't let them use this, don't let them use this.